Must have seemed like the good times would never end. But then, China happened.
Well, the day we've all been dreading has finally happened. Corona Day. Not an official name, by the way, just to put that one out there. There could be several other Corona days in the future. The world is in lockdown. Events everywhere are getting cancelled. Tom Hanks somehow has coronavirus.
What's up, everyone? Yeah, it's true. My parents got coronavirus. Crazy.
Janets and Karens everywhere are frantically sprinting through supermarkets looking through toilet roll in the event of a sudden case of mass shitting everywhere. But more importantly than all of those things, apart from Tom Hanks, we love Tom Hanks, is that sport is donezo at the moment. All of it. It's all been cancelled. The Premier League, the Champions League, domestic competitions in Europe, sports like lacrosse, I imagine. I don't even know if they still play lacrosse, actually. The point is, coronavirus has absolutely gone too far. The FA and the Premier League have announced that the top division is going to be suspended until at the earliest April the 4th. But realistically, that's like 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks from now. I don't see this situation devolving to a point where we're all fine again within 3 weeks. So the reality is we're going to be without English football for quite some time. The Football League has been suspended. The England games are cancelled. Everything is gone. And if you thought European football was going to save you, then by jingo, you're unfortunately wrong there as well. Why do I say by jingo? I need to stop. La Liga, Serie A, the Bundesliga, Ligue 1, Eredivisie, Portuguese League, all suspended. The round of 16 of the Champions League can't be finished either because there's players from Real Madrid and Juventus in quarantine right now. The Europa League was getting played behind closed doors earlier on this week. We saw Manchester United play Lask, Austrian opposition, and Wolves also play Olympiacos with no fans in the stadium. But we don't want to see games with no fans. Fans ought to make football, so now everything's just getting suspended. That and the fact that there's multiple players that have now tested positive, but we can gloss over that one. What am I going to do now? There's no football anywhere. What am I going to spend my weekends doing? Okay, so I'm gonna be back in like 5 minutes. I'm genuinely considering talking to family members. That is the point of which we are at now. I've got to go meet friends. I've got to go outside. Nah, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna find some different kind of sport that I can watch. The Premier League got affected so quickly. So it looked like all of the fixtures this weekend were gonna still happen without any issues. And then suddenly, Leicester had 3 players suffering from like symptoms. And then in the evening, Mikel Arteta tests as outright positive for coronavirus. Probably the only positive result Arsenal have had all season, in fairness. I think it's fair to say this tweet from Arsenal's official account was slightly ill-advised. Ill-advised as well, get it? Because illness, mad. Bar. Now, but on a real, obviously, there's news that's come out since then, like yesterday, that Arteta's already feeling somewhat better than he was before, which is great. Obviously, I mean, I know I'm cracking jokes, but obviously the health of everyone is massively important, so get well soon, lad. On top of that, Callum Hudson-Odio as well from Chelsea gets tested as positive. And then somehow the next day he was like, oh yeah, no, it's calm. I'm blessed. I've got over it already. It genuinely reminds me of the time of when Didier Drogba had malaria for about 45 seconds on Twitter. I don't know, all this drama. It's a good job I remembered to do my fantasy football team this week. As I mentioned, Juventus and Real Madrid have got players in quarantine. Juventus, obviously, because of Daniele Rugani. Cristiano Ronaldo's gone home to Portugal and he's not coming back, lads. I'm sorry to inform you. He is staying there for the foreseeable future. In fact, I saw somewhere that he bought an island for his family to stay. I like it. Stay on an island because the virus can't cross over water to get to... It's absolute genius. Meanwhile, Paul Pogba has a new ingenious way to save the world. Dab when you cough, dab when you sneeze, dab to beat coronavirus. Now, I'm not sure about it, Chief, I'm gonna be honest. For a start, why does this graphic look like it's been made by a fetus on Microsoft Paint? Secondly, somewhere Graham Souness is having an absolute aneurysm. Fully expecting him to go on Sky Sports tomorrow and just straight up call him an... Also, for a start, Paul, you're asking a lot from people here. Nobody's dabbed since 2017. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I would rather die. And in all of the chaos of events being postponed and countries locking off their borders, the National League have just been like, you know what? Bun it. We're just gonna play anyway. Play on, mate. Coronavirus doesn't want it. It's the sort of no-nonsense approach that I come to expect from that league, but also come to admire. Oi, Steve-O, mate, you read the news? Barry, mate, I can't read. You should know that by now. Okay, yeah, you're not wrong. Anyway, no, so have you heard about this Colin-19 disease? Oh, yeah, mate, the missus has been talking about it forever. The world's gone mad. Just drink a different beer. I do respect it from the National League, I'm not gonna lie, but equally, the players are very much at risk. People are being told pretty much to stay at home, let alone get into group gatherings, which is pretty much what a football match is. You got 22 men ultimately breathing on each other. That sounds mad. I don't mean it like that. That's raucous. But it's the only footballing excitement we've got right now, so I'm guessing fans are just gonna have to put up with it.
Like I say, it's game day. Halifax at home under the floodlights. Could be an absolute classic.
Can't wait for Boreham Wood FC versus Torquay United on Sky Sports main event this weekend. Premier League football clubs have been coming up with their own alternatives on how to spend a Saturday afternoon. Watford decided to play out their game against Leicester on Football Manager instead of the real life world. Whilst over at Southampton, the Saints challenged Norwich to a game of Saints and Norwich's noughts and crosses, basically. Norwich didn't reply, got accused of time wasting 34 minutes in, and at half-time, Norwich still hadn't got back in the game. But that's where City challenged them, and after that we got a quite phenomenal thread of noughts and crosses throughout the game. In my opinion, it's fraudulent behaviour once again from Pep Guardiola to be drawing against Southampton. Now obviously there's a grand issue from myself. I've got to talk about it. As a Liverpool fan, I'm very concerned that we're not going to win the league at all because a man ate a bat. Obviously if the league is suspended and then is never resumed, then there is the possibility that we don't actually win the league and the season is declared null or void. For a start, there's probably quite a long time before the Premier League are gonna do anything like that. You gotta remember, the Euros have been cancelled now as well. They've been moved to 2021. So technically, we could play the games over the summer if the next 2 months are like riddled with coronavirus. Obviously, a lot of people are just jumping on the bandwagon of it getting cancelled. But you've got to understand that it's extremely unfair on a lot of teams across the world. And I get it, you know, if the coronavirus is still a thing in November, then yes, this season will just have to be cancelled forever. Leeds have played, what, 38 games or something maybe by now? Top of the league, and they just don't get promoted. At least do like a playoff system. Do something. Don't just cancel everything. I'm definitely not just saying that because I'm salty at the fact that we could not win the league. Shut up. Don't think about it. But at the same time, you can't just say, oh yeah, cool, let's just declare the season as it is now, because teams in a relegation battle will think, oh, well, I had 7 games to get myself out of this situation and you just robbed me of that. Listen, lads, FA, if you're watching, you're definitely not watching, but still, chill out. Let's just relax until like mid-May, because realistically, nothing is going to happen in that time. Let's be real. Chill out in mid-May. If England's all blessed, because China's already calm. People aren't even getting coronavirus in China anymore, and there's bare people in China. That's probably the least intelligent thing I've ever said. We've not got the pressure of the Euros, so we can play into the summer a little bit. There's only, what, 8 games of the season left, or 7 or something. When everything's under control, play out 2 games a week in like June or something. Move the next season back to like the start of September to give people like the clubs a bit more of a rest over the summer again, and then just condense next season by like a month or 3 weeks or something. It's really not that difficult. Clubs like Leicester, Sheffield United, Wolves deserve far better this year than just the season getting called off. Anyway, yeah, with all that being said, I want to see us win the league, but the safety of players, fans, staff, everybody is way more important. Like, life is bigger than football. Occasionally. Anyway, to round things off, we're going to take a look at Twitter, because honestly, social media has been glorious. Juventus player Daniele Rugani tests positive for coronavirus. Leaked. Juventus's lineup in the next game. Mrs. Brown's Boys will replace Match of the Day on BBC One tomorrow night. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse. When Manuel coughs on you. Jesus, Manuel, corona. First reported case of coronavirus in South Africa turns out to be a hangover. Very relatable. Premier Premier League doesn't need to stand down to coronavirus. The virus won't be able to handle the pace, intensity and competitiveness of our league, not to mention the atmospheres of places like Anfield. COVID-19 is a multi-million-pound flop. We don't need to be concerned. This is what I imagine coronavirus looks like. Genuinely, how is this thing still a mascot? What actually is it? It looks like the sun, but it's been drawn by a blind person. I'm very confused. Paul Pogba tweeted, "Keep it coming, China," in 2019. You see, he knew all along. It's impeccable vision. Not sure if it's just me, but every time I hear COVID-19, I expect to hear Aston Villa 0 on the end. Professional athletes getting coronavirus isn't even a big deal. They all recover from it in like 2 days. If corona ever meets all the performance-enhancing drugs in Messi's bloodstream, it will evolve into something that could wipe out all of humanity. We're really announcing footballers contracting the coronavirus like it's deadline day. I was fully expecting shirt and scarf presentations and everything. There's been a case of the coronavirus down at the King Power, but to who, Chris Kamara? But I think that is going to wrap up today's video. More FTW on the pandemic. I don't know what's going to happen to the world. I don't know what's going to happen to football. I don't even really know what's going to happen to FTW, to be honest. There's no football going on, so it is going to be mildly difficult to keep that series going. But I will try, so it's not just going to get, like, cancelled till football comes back. Regardless, if you enjoyed this video, then slap a like on it, and of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.